Here you have this Russian act that you've turned into superstars, but you also dealt with American and superstars from the West coming to Russia. Who are some of the biggest artists that you had to deal with when they traveled to Russia?
Probably the biggest artist I ever hosted in Moscow was Mariah Carey. And Mariah came at a particularly important time for us in Russia because a lot of artists were scared to come, or their managers were scared to let them come. There was a lot of chaos in Russia at the time, a lot of gangster fights in the streets, bombings. There was some terrorism already beginning to happen. And David Copperfield had brought his show to Russia and was unable to leave because he wasn't paying the right bribes. And so he ended up having to cancel part of his upcoming European tour. So Russia had a bad reputation for international artists. But Mariah came. She decided she was going to perform in the Kremlin Palace. Her album was really hitting the top of the charts. It was a new album called Charm Bracelet. She had a big song with Busta Rhymes that was #1 on the radio. So she came. She decided to come and perform there. And it was the most exciting thing for us because as a record label, you want artists to come and tour. That's how you sell more records. And my young team were eager to prove that they were able to host not just small artists, not just medium artists, but the biggest artists in the world. They were ready for it. And that's exactly what happened. So when Mariah arrived, I'm telling you, her entourage was bigger than the President of the United States, who had also come to Moscow, George Bush, just a few years earlier. She had more tractor trailers, more staff. Of course, I don't think the president flies with a choreographer or a stylist like Mariah did, but it was just so impressive to see her team come in and really take over the country. She was the biggest thing to ever happen to Moscow by that point, and it was a tremendous success. I think the highlight was seeing her reaction when she stepped on Red Square for the first time. In fact, everyone who sees Red Square for the first time, their mouths just drop. It's the most amazing thing they've ever seen. But to see an artist like that, who's been all over the world, and to still be able to see the shock on her face, that was something. That was really something. The concert was a big success. Afterwards, she waited backstage, and rich people and powerful people lined up to give her gifts like they were paying honor to the Queen. She was the Queen. And she told me it was a great event for her. She was just a little disappointed that the folks in the front row with the really expensive seats, the $5,000 and up tickets, those were mainly the rich oligarchs and the Kremlin bureaucrats. They wouldn't dance to her songs, and that bothered her a little bit. But everyone else in the venue was dancing on their feet the whole night. And they saw an artist sing. I mean, when she sang Vision of Love, one of her very first hit songs, it brought a tear to my eye. I just, seeing their reaction, seeing this crowd watch a true master perform, and her vocal ability is just unmatched by anybody that had performed there. It was so impressive.
Wow.
So Mariah, I think, would be the biggest artist I ever hosted. I hosted Enrique Iglesias and Elton John and Bryan Adams, a lot of really big artists. But I do think Mariah made the biggest impact of anyone I ever hosted in Moscow.
Wow. Well, she is an amazing personality and star, and what an experience that was for you.